Hey everyone, I want to give a quick overview of the career framework that we have here in engineering. This framework is designed to give some clear guidelines while also providing some flexibility so that you can design the role that's the most exciting for you, the best fit for your team and the company. I'm going to jump right into an overview of what our career framework looks like. It's called the Engineering People Model. This is built up of the Pleo-wide people model that you see at the top here. This defines a core set of expectations for everyone at Pleo, regardless of what part of the company they're in, and these expectations are unique per level. We then go in and add guidelines and expectations that are unique for engineering. So in this earlier part here, we have the engineering core. Everyone's expected to build up this core skill set in engineering. And then we have some things that are unique to the engineering competence and that are unique to Pleo. So unique to the engineering competence is that at level 8 here, you have the option of splitting into one of two tracks. One of them is a technical leadership track, which is our IC track. One of them is more of a people and organizational leadership track, which is our management track. The important piece here is that there's no benefit of picking one track versus the other. It's really just a difference of skill set and what your particular interest is. Another important piece here is that at every level of management, the guideline is that you're paired with a technical leader from the IC track. So this framework is actually designed to make that very clear and define what these roles are. Now, something that's unique to Pleo, not commonly seen in the industry, is that we provide kind of a broad range of the different levels that a role might have. And actually, in some situations, there's an overlap of some different roles at a certain level. There's a really important reason for this. At Pleo, we want to incentivize you doing what you think is best for your team and the company. We want to disincentivize things like in the management track, what's sometimes called empire building, which is basically just trying to manage as many people as you possibly can. Or in the IC track, what's commonly seen is trying to design projects or pick certain projects purely for the reason of career progression, and that don't necessarily serve what's best for the company. So we design these roles so that you can still grow in your career without changing your role description in some drastic way. And a lot of that leveling difference comes from this Pleo-wide people model, which sort of outlines attitudes and skill sets and kind of a core set around how you're doing your job as well. And then there's some unique differences that are outlined here in the engineering parts. But it's actually a really cool way of approaching a career model and really trying to incentivize you doing what you think is best. At the bottom of this, we have some links to the details of what this model looks like, which link to a tool called Lattice Grow. So quick overview of what that looks like here in Lattice Grow. These different cells now have some bullets in them, and you can actually make growth goals here with your manager in your one-on-ones. And it just provides a really cool way to view the entire engineering people model and actually make it actionable for you. So from this people model, a job is made up of 3 attributes, which is a title, a level, and a role. Because we're engineers, I wrote this in some sort of pseudocode. So an engineer can have a title, which has a set of guidelines around what that can look like, a level, a role. So an instance of that for me, for example, is senior software engineer, tech lead, level, role. With this, we get some flexibility, so you can extend this job class with a role modifier. This is how we get things like tech lead and architect. So if you open up a tech lead, for example, you see that a tech lead extends an engineer, as some details around what that title is. We provide some details around how a tech lead looks a little bit different, how the expectations might be a little bit different. And you can actually create your own role modifiers. The requirement there is really that your manager and their manager agree to it. And that's really to just create some visibility in the company. And the ask is that you add it to this list as a sort of open source way so other people can use it. For titles, the suggestion is that you use common patterns for titles, which are outlined here in this model. But if for some reason it makes sense that you need to define your own title, there's some guidelines for how to do that, and a little pseudocode test function here. So there is some flexibility there as well. And at the bottom here, we have some frequently answered questions. Thank you all for taking some time to watch the video. Really excited to share this new framework with you, and take care.